Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Title: The Great Chase Blunder, Bradley's Blush. It was a crisp Thursday evening at the ITV studios. The iconic set of The Chase shimmered under the bright lights, the glossy floor reflecting the tension in the air. As always, Bradley Walsh stood confidently at the helm, his infectious grin already setting the tone for another fun-filled quiz battle. Tonight's team was particularly sharp. Diane, a retired chemistry teacher with a poker face. Marcus, a cheeky barista from Brighton. Priya, an IT analyst with nerves of steel. And finally, Toby, a flamboyant magician who claimed he could hypnotize dogs. The audience adored them. Everything was going swimmingly. The banter between Bradley and the contestants was flowing, the questions were tough, and the chaser tonight, the governess, was in rare, ruthless form. Then came the question. It was Diane's turn in the cash builder. Bradley glanced at the next question on his screen, his voice booming with his signature flair. Which of these is a well-known repeating decorative design? A. Motif, B. Muffin, or C. Marmoset? Diane buzzed in without hesitation. A. Motif. Correct, Bradley beamed. Then he added, yes, a motif is a repeating pattern, of course, not to be confused with a marmoset, which is, well, a very small monkey, or a muffin, which is a very small cake. Unless it's blueberry, then it's a breakfast. The audience chuckled. But then something caught Bradley's eye on the screen. He tilted his head. Hang on, he muttered, squinting at the monitor. Did I read that wrong? He glanced up at the question again, his brow furrowed. Oh no, he murmured, his cheeks flushing. Wait a minute. The producers scrambled behind the cameras. The auto-cue assistant started to giggle. The chaser raised an eyebrow. Bradley turned back to the audience, hands dramatically on his hips. Ladies and gentlemen, I have just had a pattern blunder. A gasp. Turns out, he continued, clearly mortified but already laughing, I read it as pattern, but the actual word in the question was patent. The corrected question flashed up on the screen. Which of these is a well-known type of official right? A. Motif, B. Muffin, or C. Patent? The audience erupted. I've just turned a legal term into wallpaper, Bradley exclaimed, now laughing so hard tears were threatening to spill. I gave a heartfelt speech about muffins and monkeys for absolutely no reason. Diane was giggling too, her composure now thoroughly shattered. The chaser shook her head with mock disdain. Bradley, I hope that isn't a recurring motif. The cameras cut to Bradley now theatrically fanning his crimson face with a cue card. I'll never live this down. Patent. Of course it's patent. But no, I had muffins and marmosets on the brain. The moment went viral within hours. Twitter exploded with memes. Bradley's face photoshopped onto a muffin, or dressed as a tiny marmoset holding a lawyer's briefcase. Later that week, on This Morning, Holly Willoughby recapped the moment through tears of laughter. Bradley turned a legal question into a baking safari. Genius! Despite, or perhaps because of the mix-up, The Chase saw a spike in viewers that week. People tuned in not just for the quiz, but for the joy of watching a man who could turn even the simplest question into comedy gold. Backstage, Bradley shook his head with a grin. Only I could mess up one word and make it national news. Next week, I'll probably mistake kangaroo court for a marsupial judge. The moral of the story? Never underestimate the chaos a single misread word can cause, especially when Bradley Walsh is holding the cue cards.